till this day, my mom will tell you.
That's your brother.
She came,
Mike, your brother.
That's your brother.
Right.
But I never forget the day. Okay, it was a day when we was doing the show in the Big Easy. Remember she walked in? Mm-hmm. She didn't even come to the stage. I hopped out my mom's window once again to go do this.
And
right?
she came.
She came. She caught on to it. She came.
She knew in advance. She let him finish though.
Yeah. Look, she walked in the door, stood there, and looked me dead in my eye while I was on stage. And she did like that, nodded her head, let me finish, and when I finished, she did this. Let's go. I left out of there that night, and she walked. This is where I knew my mind was like, you know what? I'm gonna let this kid, you know what I mean, pursue whatever his dream.
Right.
Because usually I would have gotten that call, and she'd have,
Right.
who you playing with? You know what I mean? Gonna leave out my window? You know how it is, like, and she did not do that, bro. She just rolled home calmly and just said, son, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm praying for you every night. Wow. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And from that point on, I think she put in her mind, I'm gonna just let him
Find his
way, find his passion, and roll with it.
Yes, indeed. Only in New Orleans, baby. It's your boy Wild Wayne. They gonna jump on shorty. Big boy, we ready to do it. Come on. Drop it, how you feeling? Work it, how you feeling? Come on. Work it, how you feeling? Let's go. Come on. Drop it, how you feeling? Work it, how you feeling? Come on. I want you twerking, how you feeling? Let me see your
But these are two legends. We got that understood.
And these are two legends too, right here.
These two, man.
What's your first memory of Partners in Crime?
I was on Gertown Park.
Okay.
And I heard these two young cats singing.
God damn, this thing good. This is my first time ever biting this damn thing. This is my first time eating it. This damn thing is good.
This sandwich came from Skip over at Chicken and Watermelon.
God damn.
Yeah.
Yes, that's where it came from.
Yeah, this is damn good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Mm-hmm. So,
go ahead. Let's finish your story.
I heard these two cats singing, man. It was Gertown Park.
okay. Like we were playing ball or something?
Yeah, we were balling.
Like we used to play a lot of ball. I was a baller till I blew my knee out, but that's another story.
And heard these young cats singing the Heron song.
Yeah.
Now, when was that? What year is that?
That was 93. 92, 93.
92,
yeah, right around in that
Somewhere up in there.
We hadn't recorded it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you just out there
It was just a hood thing.
That was just hood, Just
That was actually in Gertown. We had a few friends that used to do
their
things
thing.
like
Right.
that.
They were businessmen.
They were older people. You know what I mean? That was
Businessmen.
doing
Yeah,
it.
they were businessmen.
But it's just like if you're walking through your neighborhood and you know somebody that's on drugs, doesn't mean they're a bad person. Nothing like that. They're just on drugs. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they had a guy in my neighborhood that was the same way. And we all knew him. You know what I mean? He was always respectful to us, told us, make sure you go home. You know what I mean? Whatever, Mildred, them boys around here. But unfortunately, he was on heroin. Mm-hmm. So we saw him on the porch. We'll joke around and look at him. He ducking, like, give me some heroin. And do that.
Right.
And he actually used to smile and say, y'all get away from him. Mm-hmm. But we used to play with him like that, and it's just something that took off around the neighborhood. So when we first had a chance to record, it just was one of the things that was on my mind. And Chuck and them was like, man, just record whatever's on your mind. Okay, I'm going to do this little song we did, you know what I mean, in the neighborhood.
That was one of your first singles?
It wasn't a single. It wasn't a single.
It
came on a maxi single.
Right.
There was, we had the beef thing going on. So they was structuring it around, the problem that we had with UNLV. Mm-hmm. So just to add some other elements, besides just putting one song out, let's put 3 songs out and see what because Chuck wasn't really sure what we can do. Chuck wasn't trying to structure his label around bounce music or nothing like that. He wanted to be like the death row of the South. Big boy.
And it was our first go around. So he was like, look, we really didn't have too much material together.
Right.
It was a lot of things we was rapping in shows where we was just throwing raps and just rapping over the beat.
I got something that fit what he doing.
So when it came time to get in the studio,
back to back.
Right. So when it came time to get in the studio, and he said, well, okay, here's a big chance we're gonna put 3 songs out. okay, we only got one song we did together, Mike. We got to hurry up, come up with one, and then let's throw that little other one in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Although we've never done heroin a day in our life, and it's not that we were promoting heroin, but our mindset was once you listen to the song and you hear, I get so spooked out, I do this, do that, we felt like you wouldn't want to try it. We felt like, but our young minds, because you got to think, I was 16 at the time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
16.
Our young minds was thinking that that's how people was going to perceive it when it didn't come across like that. And we totally understand.
Gotcha.
So most people was thinking,
We was
they
promoting.
promoting heroin. And we was like, no, man, why would
We
you want to
downplaying
feel like
it, really.
that? But it was like, wait a minute, guys. We see what y'all was trying to do, but you didn't deliver it that way.
Right.
And, you know, your little young 16-year-old mind, now you need to learn the power of your tongue. That's what was told to us once we told this same story to someone. They said, now you know the power of your tongue. Use it.
Early lessons.
Use it the right way.
Now you say this was in '93.
Yeah.
When? First off, tell me where you guys actually from. We know you're from New Orleans.
Right.
Wayne yells all the time. He's from the 7th Ward. I'm from Shrewsbury. Where you guys actually from? Inside the city of New Orleans.
I'm from Gertown, 17 Ward, Carrollton.
Okay.
Born and raised.
I'm from all of them.
All of
everywhere.
them.
But listen, Holly Grove, bro, like is where I claim Holly Grove because Holly Grove is where, you know, I got defined at, meaning like I understood. Like I still use things that I learned in Holly Grove as the man I am today. Some of the mentorship that I got from some of the street guys, I still stand on that law, and that's in me to the day. So I claim Holly Grove, even though I lived in the Magnolia, the St. Thomas, the East. You know what I'm saying? I claim Holly Grove because Holly Grove is where I really got defined at who I want to be.
So you
who
lived
I am.
in several projects around there?
Yeah, I was born in the St. Thomas, you know, with my grandmother and mom, and then my mom got her project in the Magnolia. I lived on Josephine, left Josephine, and we moved to Holly Grove.
Okay.
So when I lived in Holly Grove, that's where I got, you know, understanding. They gave me rules, like, don't go tell your mama, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
Right.
you phony if you go tell your mama that, you know, or stuff like that. So I started getting understanding now, because I was like the oldest, you know, like I'm my mama's oldest boy, like, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't have a father in the house, so I don't have a mentor. So my mentors was guys on the street.
Right.
So I learned from right and wrongs from what I saw, you know, what they stood on as right or wrong, like, you know what I'm saying?
And that's the story of so many people.
Right.
Whether it be New Orleans or just inner cities of metropolis around the country.
Right.
Like the absence of a father quite often, or uncle or what have you, leads a lot of these young kids to get it out the street.
And
You
I
know?
thought it was a normal thing.
Either
you
just
know.
to make a young male feel macho. I mean, I lost my father due to the military. My dad died in the military.
Oh, okay.
When I was like 4 years old.
Where was he? You know where he was stationed?
I can't remember, but my mom told me, you know, the whole thing, but I can't remember at this point where he was stationed. But he died when I was 4 years old, so I grew up in a single-parent household, you know, with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And although my father wasn't there, I still had a sense to feel macho.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I see my mom and my sister doing these things, and I'm out here as a young male. You know what I mean? My sister's older than me, and of course my mom and my sister are bonding.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you
Here
on that
I am as
island.
a man, I'm on that island.
Right.
I'm trying to, you know what I mean, be, you know, more macho.
Macho, manly,
So which means,
masculine.
you know, my mom was a good mother. She provided everything I wanted. But me being a rebellious male in
Right.
a house with two
Right.
females, I wanted to go out and do the things that I saw as well, man. Look, man, we going out here do whatever it is, you know what I mean, as men to make ourselves
Right.
feel, you know, bad, you know, or macho.
Were you guys individual artists? Who put y'all
Yeah,
together?
we
How did y'all come
individual
together?
We was individual. I was doing gong shows.
Right.
I entered pretty much in, you know, like I come in the game off of gong shows. You know what I'm saying?
And for those that don't know, Bobby Marchand did a series of gong shows, which were opportunities for young artists to get on stage in front of a crowd that could be either very loving or very hostile.
Right. It was the Apollo of New Orleans.
Yes,
I
yes.
don't know, it's
Sandman
basically
and
what it was,
everything.
for real.
And Bobby was the Mr. Sister.
Right, the Mr. Sister. I like that.
Were you always misdemeanor?
Well, I had before I was misdemeanor, I was Kid Swift.
Okay.
You know, I come from like loving hip 80s rap, Run DMC, LL Cool J, stuff like that. So I had actually Kid Swift was Frankie the Screwdriver, Insane. That was his rap name at first. But I moved out of Holly Grove and I moved to the East, and I was like, you know what? He ain't gonna rap. I'm Kid Swift.
So you jacked the man out his name?
Jack Frankie
I ain't
name.
gonna say I jacked it. I just stole it.
Used it for a little
So I
while.
used it for a little while. So I did that for a minute, and I was in a group with a guy named Curl, and we called ourselves CCKS, Cool C and Kid Swift. And he was a militant kind of rapper. He was like a fight the power type dude, like he come from Oakland, you know what I'm saying? Black Panther type stuff, and I kind of went with that. That was cool for a minute, and then
Did y'all record?
no, we didn't record that. We
about
just
to
was
say, I
doing,
wanna
we just
hear
was
these
doing
recordings.
talent shows
Okay.
like that, like high school talent shows or whatever, But that didn't work. That we probably did that for a year, and then, but I was already bit by the bug from some stuff way in the 80s that happened when I went to Raising Hell concert. I went to Run DMC Raising Hell concert with some of the guys out of Holly Grove.
That had to be at the,
That was in '85.
That had to be at the.
That was
at the
auditorium.
auditorium.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was auditorium.
Oh, hey, Jackson.
I was in there with you.
Well,
yeah.
over by my
Armstrong
Jack
Park.
Armstrong Park.
I was in there with you,
We
man.
went to that.
Yeah.
I saw the crowd go crazy. I saw them do my Adidas. I saw them put their shoe up.
Eli production.
And Eli did that. Ghost. You know what I'm saying? Ghost Town. So once they did that, I was gone. I was like,
This is for me.
yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. Like,
Right.
cause I saw the power in it, and I just saw everybody put your Adidas shoe up, and it was just like, damn, I want to do that. Like this, I want to rap. Cause breakdancing was in before rapping. Like they didn't really have rappers, that we knew. Even though they had like Tim Smooth, Buzz Downs, and all those, we thought those guys was already national artists. We didn't even know they was from our city.
Right.
Maybe because they was from the West Bank or whatever. We didn't
Right.
really know that they was a part of New Orleans culture. So breakdancing was in, and so we was doing breakdancing. When I went to that concert, I wanted to rap. Like the
So you were breakdancing and you saw the rap and you were inspired.
And
like,
I was inspired just from one show.
When I first met him, he had told me that he had a dream of doing a song like Run DMC when they held up the Adidas, and that's the reason why we made I Got Gucci's. And people don't know that's how that song came about. He wanted to experience that feeling. So when we first recorded the song and we first had our chance to perform it was in the Riverboat Hallelujah. So he was like, man, hold up, King, stop. And I'm like, wondering what he's about to do. He took his shoe off and he said, I want everybody in here with a pair of Gucci's on to put your shoe in the air.
The whole
And
place
dude,
did it.
the whole place did it, dude. And I was looking like, okay, that's off his bucket list. He got it,
But Mina, you musically inclined.
Yeah, I played in the band.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
played
So it's a natural progression. Huh?
Yeah, I played for Fauché. Shout out, rest in peace to Bremer. You know what I'm saying? Elijah Bremer. He took me in and showed me how to play the trumpet. They try to make me play clarinet, but once I sat in the section and saw girls, I was like, I'm not doing this. So I came back and I said,
you
man,
could be honest
bring
with
this
us, bro."
clarinet back. And he was trying to sell me on it because Bremer was like, I play a flute. I don't care. I'm not sitting in the
about to sit there and play that
and play
woodwind.
this woodwind. I won't be over there. I play trumpet.
But see, like we have a lot in common. I play trumpet too.
Okay, but I didn't like the trumpet. It was cool. It mess your lip up a lot. I ain't really like that. So I wanted to be in a drum section. So I wanted to play cymbals. I couldn't make Fauché. I was buku small, man. Like if you'd have saw me in the 9th grade, you'd have thought I was in the 6th grade. You know what I'm saying? I was a small kid, and them dudes looked like grown men at Fauché. Beards, you know what I'm saying? They just look grown, and I wasn't, gonna be able to make that section. So when I left high school, Fauché, I wound up going to Sarah T. Reed, and it was a brand new school, so they was just looking for everything to be new. So I got on cymbals there and became section leader, and I played cymbals. Went to Southern, played cymbals.
Was that the natural progression from you guys linking up once you
He played
went to Sarah T.
Yeah, he
Reed?
played in
I
the
played in
band
the band too.
'Cause you were at
our
Reed too,
connection.
right?
I was at Reed. I was at Abe first.
Okay.
So I played at Abe. Then I left Abe and I went to Reed. And when I got to Reed, everybody knew me for doing the rapping in the gyms and stuff like that. So once I got there, I got into the band. I played tenor drum, and everybody used to tell me about a dude that went there like a year or two before me named Mike. Like it was like, man, he ruled this school and rap. So I was like, okay. So one day we was in the gym, we all rapping, and we have a friend of ours by the name of Dejan that actually grew up in Holly Grove as well. And I knew him and he knew him. Dejan used to actually date my sister during these times. So during that time, me and Mina never knew each other, but Dejan knew both of us.
Right.
You know what I mean? This was our younger years as kids. You know, Dejan was in Gertown and he was in Holly Grove. He just ride his bike to the other side. You know what I mean? I play with Walter and then I go right back to the other side. I'm with Mike and them, you know?
Right.
So once we got to Reed, and I was rapping in the gym, Dejan was like, man, I know that dude Mike they talking about, man. Mike from Holly Grove, like, bro. So we had another friend named Gary Gnu. He used to try and be a rapper and, you know, challenge me. So Gary was...
I take it he wasn't very good.
He was okay. He had a song that we liked.
He was all
with
right.
the bouquet of flowers.
Yeah,
Every time he rapped it used to like tear us apart. Like, you know what I mean? We used to rock off it. So anyway, me and Gary challenged, so I beat Gary. And after when I beat him, he said, man, I'm going to call my partner Mike here and you're going to challenge him. And he said, after that, he going to beat you up. Like, you know what I mean? So,
you throwing them hands, Mike?
So Dejan was laughing at him. And Dejan like, man, Mike ain't nothing like that, man. Mike from Holly Grove. Right. So I think it was that same day.
It was the next day. I mean, that same day I came around there.
He came around there. And I was actually getting on the bus. And they had told me how he looked already. This young man, a light-skinned dude. He be wearing animals, you know, whoop. So I'm getting on the bus one day, and I look off the bus, and sure enough, he's standing right there by the bus stop. He had on a little green guest jacket with some yellow animals. He had the hat on. So I said, all right, that must be the cat. Like, you know what I mean?
So did you not want to get off the bus?
No, my bus was already rolling.
He just saw me on the bus.
I just saw him while I was on the bus.
But
and
you said, my good thing for him,
school, you know what I mean?
I wasn't. He
didn't even know me by that time.
That was false. Like, I wasn't, you know.
I wasn't
like
no
that.
humbug.
He
No, I ain't come
wasn't
from
about
humbug.
to sneak him.
I wasn't humbuggish. I was a guy that I was a red dude with a small man complex.
He used to fight
Your reputation.
Yeah,
preceded.
so I fought because I felt violated. I didn't have a big brother, didn't have a daddy, so my thing was to earn a name for myself by, you know, I ain't gonna take no stuff. So
And
I was
it
a
was
little,
what's crazy
but I wasn't
is-
humbuggish. I wasn't looking for it. I just was more on a defensive, like, you know.
So when did the magic happen?
The magic happened,
so to speak.
The next day, after I saw him on the bus, the next day I was in band class, my 7th period, and I was outside playing the T-drum because I couldn't play it inside. And he had walked up and he said, say, man, your name, they call you Kango? And I was like, yeah. He was like, man, they told me that you rap, bro. He said, I'm Mike. He said, I went there last year. I graduated. He like, I'm in college. I go to, you know, Delgado at the time or whatever. And he was like, man, look, they told me you're good. He said, what you doing? I'm like, I'm in 7th period band. I'm outside the band room. I went and put my T-drum up. I said, all right, 7th period. We about to get out of here. You know what I mean? So he said, well, look, I'm about to go walk to the store and grab something to eat. So I said, well, look, I'm going to take the walk with you. So on this walk, we talking. He like, say, bro, I don't really know how good you is, but I know, you know, they told me that you good. He said, but I be doing these gone shows. He said, I probably could get you in, you know what I mean, sneak you in the little gone show and stuff if you want, you know, come in and rap with me. He said, it make a lot of money from it. Like, you know, he like, we'll be making like $500. We could split the pie if you won't do it. So I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, well, damn, I know my mama ain't gonna let me go do this.
Right,
you know what I'm
right.
saying? I already know she ain't gonna let me do this. So on the way to the store, he was like, man, come on, let's kick some rhymes. So he started rapping. And when he finished rapping, I bust a verse. But everything that we did, it was coinciding with each other.
It worked.
It was like, damn.
It was almost like we wrote it together.
Like we wrote it together, like, you know?
What year was this?
This is like, 92. Man, 92. Yeah, probably about 92. Yep, 92.
I graduated in 91, so it was 92.
Yeah, it was 92.
Okay.
Now,
So 92.
Were you doing melodic rap then?
Yeah.
So you were
That's what
already-
really caught him.
I was like, man, this dude cold.
I was really caught him.
And
Because, you know, back then I used to be, you know, then you in LV, they never in the pint, you know. It was a totally different little style,
melody
like, you know
from,
what I mean?
from the beginning. And what I was more like amazed by was, I said, like he ain't have to, you know, he ain't write.
Right.
Like
just
everything
came.
was in his head. You know, like people were saying Jay-Z was
Yeah.
the first person they knew that didn't write raps, or Lil Wayne. I'm like, man, Kango was the first dude I knew that didn't write it and remember the melody to it.
Right.
I thought that was even more complicated because it wasn't just a rap. It was like he got to know how to sing it and deliver it, and he was just dope,
Right.
bro. And
So we, after that walk to the store, he told me, he said, man, they got a gong show in New Orleans East. It was the old, Club Atlas. Right. Is where
It's
Bobby
a funeral home
Marchand.
now.
It's a funeral home now, right?
It
Used to be by
Service
Service
Road.
Merchandise.
Atlantis.
Used to be by Service Merchandise.
Off the service road.
Yeah, on the service road.
So I'm already
Next to the
standing
church?
right next to the church, right there. It's a funeral home now. So Bobby Marchand was throwing a gong show there. So he was like, man, if you can make it here on this day, bro, we could go in and try and, make it happen. So anyway, I go home. I'm like, man, I'm not even about to ask my mom, can I go to this?
You already know she ain't gonna let you
Yeah.
go.
So you know what? He told me it's gonna happen close to about 9:30, 10 o'clock. You know what I mean? Come out there. Well, mom's getting in bed early. She gonna be in bed by 8:30. You hear me? So my mom get in bed, and it's just me being a rebellious child, man. And I love my mother. My mother was a great mom to me. You know what I'm saying? But just me being a rebellious child, I felt like it was something that I needed to do. So I hopped out the window. You know what I mean? Got on my bike. And rode straight up Reed, bro. You know what I mean? To Club Atlas, yeah. And you know how you cross under the bridge right where the Walmart used to be at? You got to cross under there?
Yeah.
I crossed under right there and left my bike right under there.
Right.
So I walk up the service road to Club Atlantis. Bobby Marchand at the door, Mike say, all right, come on, we about to get in. So he go first. His thing was always, just let me go first and then I'm going to, you know what I mean? Try and get you in or whatever.
I'ma
You know what I
work it.
mean?
I'ma
I'm
work
going to work it. So anyway, we get into the door. Bobby Marchand sitting at the door with his leg crossed. You know Bobby. You know what I mean?
Mr.
He's
Sister.
like, yeah, man, we gonna come. We trying to, register to get in the thing. He was like, all right. He looked up at him. He gave him his ID. He was like, all right, And I'm like, man, damn, I forgot my ID. You know what I mean? But little did I know I'm playing this on Bobby Marchand, dude. This dude is like, you know what I mean, a musical historian in the city. Like,
he's been in the game for a long time.
Right, but at this time I had no idea. You know what I mean?
He was
Just
green.
a young,
He was
it's
super
a
green.
young Kango, So he's like, you're not getting in here without an ID. Whoa. So Mike like, man, please let him in. We just want, enter the contest. He's 17, but and he looking at me like, I'm like, damn, man, I ain't about to get in. So anyway, we was about to leave. We was standing in the parking lot. He was like, damn, bro, I wanted to get you in to do the thing with me. Then Bobby said, hold up. He said, come here. He said, look, I'm gonna walk y'all in here.
Do your thing.
He said, but when y'all get in here, you stand by the DJ booth and do not move from by that DJ booth until it's time for you to rap, right? Wow. So we standing by the DJ booth. We came up there, time for us to put our name down there. We put Mike and Walter down. Bobby Marchand laughed. And he was like, Mike and Walter. He did, and that's
Y'all about to get gone for y'all went on stage.
Right. We wasn't no group or
Right,
nothing.
there wasn't no group. We ain't had no name. So he was like, man,
right.
Mike and Walter, like, he just put it down. Like, so anyway, we entered the contest. We didn't win.
Okay.
But when we left out of there, Bobby said, man, they had people that liked y'all, man. They was dancing, you know what I mean, to what y'all was doing. So, y'all keep it up, So anyway, we kept it up. Kept doing the same thing, man. I was hopping out of windows, going to do gong shows. Me and him had started winning, you know, after a while. And that's when we came up with the Partners in Crime name once we made it to the Big Easy gong shows. Because at that point we couldn't,
if for loyal listeners of the Wild Wayne Unchained podcast, we've referenced Bobby Marchand quite a few times.
Yeah.
In the history of New Orleans, the musical history of New Orleans. So I mean, you hear legends on this podcast speaking, and they're speaking of legends. So that kind of ties everything in.
I'm always disappointed that he never really got his entire shine.
Right.
I was watching Eddie Murphy's movie
Dolomite.
My Name is Dolomite.
Yeah.
And for many years Bobby managed Rudy Ray Moore.
Right.
I just remember him doing the gong shows.
Right.
I used to go sit in his office and just
Dude.
soak up game because there would be people trying to book Cash Money, early Cash Money from around the country.
Right.
And I think I said this in the previous episode, but they would call and they'd be trying to short him or short Cash Money. He'd hang up in their face.
Right.
To me, it was a lot of money at that time.
A lot of money. But
and he
Bobby,
would hang up in their face, and you know what?
They'll call back with
They'll call right back with their mind right, with an extra flight or something.
Right.
Dude, once we got to the Big Boy Record Standpoint, which I'm going to go back in a second about what we was talking about, but when we got to the Big Boy Record Standpoint, Bobby still became sort of our manager. Right. Because after we stopped doing the gong shows, we didn't see Bobby for a long time until we signed a deal with Big Boy. And then they walked us straight into Bobby's office, and Bobby was like, there they go.
Yeah, there they go.
Partners in Crime.
So tell me this. So y'all doing the gong shows. You know, y'all starting to get some sparks, starting to get a little friction.
Right.
You know, who was coming at you? Any record labels? Any locals?
This how it was going. Was doing the gong shows. Can't go make some, don't make some, you know, because of his situation, right? So Sporty T, bro, you know,
rest in peace.
Terrence, man, you know, my dude. He was just like, I had beat him. Like one time I had did one at it was at the Big Easy, and 35 had a little graduation party in there, and I had a girlfriend that went to 35, so everybody knew me. So Sporty was in it, I was in it, I won. So Sporty was like, man, this dude, you know, you won. He was like, look, bro, I like you. Like, he was like, look, I'm gonna bring you, you know, where you work at, or, you know, how can I get in touch with you? I said, come to my job. I was working at Swagman. Right. He come to the job. He come get me. He was like, what time you get off? Like 4:30. He came back and got me. He said, look, tonight I'm going to bring you to Diamonds and Pearls. That was out there in Slidell.
I used to host that some night. I probably hosted it that night.
You probably did. Boy. You know, so I go out there. I didn't win or whatever. So, you know, he was just like, don't worry about that, bro. I'm going to help get you a deal. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, you know, I was like loyal to, like Sporty had knew me, but he didn't know Kango. Yeah. I was like, listen, bro, I got another dude I rap with. You just got to hear him, like, or whatever. So he brought me to Big Boy. I rap for Chuck. Chuck was like, man, this dude the wackest dude I ever heard. Don't never bring him back around.
That's what he said, bro.
Yeah. Wow. I was nervous, though. I was like, you know, because he was like, man, that's the dude. He about to start a record label. We about to do some big things. I want you to rap for him. So I went rap for him. I probably did Roddy Roll It or something. He was like, man, that dude whack. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was like, don't never bring him back around me.
Wow.
You know?
So Big Boy was established already?
Well, he was building it. He was about to start. Like, meaning like he was looking for artists.
He was recruiting talent.
He had maybe Black Menace and he had Sporty T.
What about Trey 8?
I don't think he had Trade or nothing like that. But he had Black Menace and he had Sporty T, right? Mm-hmm. And
G Slim.
And probably G Slim. So he was just like trying to build his, you know, about to get his thing moving or whatever. I guess they was going through getting the paperwork straight or whatever may be the case. And they was doing like a talent search thing. So when Cash Money, you know, Cash Money was doing the Big Easy thing too. They had did the little talent search thing
and
for
Heavy
a minute.
And
Heavy was the host.
Big Heavy.
Yeah, Big Heavy. But
DJ Ryan was the DJ back then.
Ryan.
Once they finished that, they wound up. Big Boy did a night in there for this particular night. So Sporty was like, "Listen, bro, I know what he said," because I was like, "Man, I ain't messing with that dude." You know what I'm saying? He was like, "Look, bro, he don't know what y'all do. Like, he don't know how y'all be rocking this crowd, bro. Come open up, you know, the show, and he gonna see." So we went and did the Big Easy thing. I mean, yeah, and tore it up. Chuck was like,
y'all did Roddy Roll It?
Yeah, we did. We did. I think we did the UNLV.
We did the UNLV song. We did all that.
So you snuck
out. Yeah, because we had did a song. The U is for unknown. We did that song like because right before that, maybe a week or two before that, they had dissed us. Right. Cash Money asked us to come open up for UNLV.
Right.
Because we didn't sign. You know, Baby wanted to sign us.
We didn't sign with them, and that's when they came out with they had a showcase that was gonna happen that week. When they asked us to sign and we said we wouldn't sign. So they was like, okay, since y'all not going to sign, we still want y'all to perform at our showcase at the Big Easy.
Big Easy. Could y'all come open up for UNLV? We were like, yeah, we'll do it.
Once we got there to open up, me and Mike just thinking, okay, we just going to open up, get us a little bit more exposure.
We did Roddy Roll It.
We did Roddy Roll It.
You know, they said, in that song, they said, I got the colors fitted up with the trues and vogues, right?
fitted up with the trues and vogues. You know, that's
so
what I used to say.
So they come on after us and it was like, everybody's jocking UNLV style.
And they pointing at me and Mike.
You're bragging to your boy about your trues and vogues. We was like,
and they were pointing. I was like, wow,
they're like this.
All right.
They set us up.
We go home. I couldn't even sleep that night.
Shots fired.
I couldn't even sleep. I called Kango 4 a.m. Right. Look, we're gonna change the definition of their name. The U is for unknown. And I told him, he was like, all right, write your part. I'm gonna write my part.
That weekend, they had a party in there.
Right.
And it was a lot of uptown and east. You know, it was both sides, uptown and east. You know what I mean? Was in the building.
So y'all were partners in crime now.
We were partners in crime.
Yeah, we had made the name already.
We had made the name already, right? Partners in crime is there. So in that party, UNLV was supposed to rap. We wasn't supposed to rap. But by the time we got there, DJ Ryan and Roll Brother Action Jackson was in the building, right? And you could actually hear Action on the. We have the recording from that. We had the recording from that night.
Yeah, we got the raw recording.
Yeah, we got the raw recording.
You can hear it was like.
Ryan recorded it on a cassette tape,
and he dumped it down. So now we have it.
So now we actually have it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was our first actual recording.
What?
In Partners in Crime. Yeah.
Raw.
So anyway, we got the mic. And when we got that microphone, bro, we just started it all. The U is for unknown. And the crowd went to, it was looking like, I know they're not about to diss them while they in here like that.
What?
And it just happened like, you know what I mean? And right after we got off the mic, UNLV also grabbed the mic. And they did their thing, but it was an epic night, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but that's where it all.
That's where the problem with that kicked off at, like, pretty much, you know.
Right. That's how brothers.
So once Big Boy had heard us, you know, once we came back and did that song again, you know, now we know like people love this song, so we did that song, we did Ride and Roll or whatever. Right. Chuck was like, "Look, bro, Monday, come to my office, come to the studio.
We're gonna try this out.
Yeah, we're gonna meet with the lawyers. All right."
So did you not want fool with him? Since
I wanted the deal. You know what I'm saying? Because I had just closed it. I had just said I wasn't gonna do the deal with Cash Money. So with me not doing the deal with Cash Money, I had promised Kango, listen, bro, they like you. They don't really like me, right?
They were trying to
separate us.
Cash Money was like, look, we heard of him. Before we heard of you, because they heard me on DJ Pee Wee tape.
Right. And Pee Wee had that fire.
I made a tape with Pee Wee in the early 90s. This was probably like 90, 91. You know what I mean? So I had a song on there where I was going, bang, bang, Bigelow, ooh-wee, ooh-ah, you know what I mean, or whatever.
Right.
So Cash Money had got wind of that tape. So they was like, we heard him on this tape.
We wanted him
anyway. So we're going to separate y'all. You know what I mean?
Because we heard you by yourself.
Because we heard you by yourself. Which they did.
Yeah.
Right. So, in that sense, me and Mina already pretty much had a bind because of our school walk and our school talk. Mm-hmm. Plus, we had been already into gong shows as a team. We was getting money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Come on, dude. I probably was 15.
We was winning it. Right.
I probably was 15.
Right.
15 walking around with $1,000 in my pocket just from a gong show. Think about your 15-year-old doing that right now.
Right.
Not possible.
And you were sneaking out the window.
And I was sneaking out the window doing it. You know what I mean?
Y'all had a
and
bond.
once again, it's not because I come from a broken home.
Well, you was following your passion.
I was following my passion and being a rebellious kid. I like to say that because most people say, oh, he wouldn't have been doing that if he was my child. You don't know what your child did when you was asleep, or if he hopped out your window, or whatever he did, you know what I mean? Or whatever it was. But it had nothing.
Did a lot of things.
Yeah, you know. But I like to state that because I did not come from a broken home, because my father wasn't there, nothing like that.
But you know what?
We had a good life. You know?
On a bigger level, on a higher plane, like the book is written.
Right. It's written.
Like I always say that, and somebody else's parent probably would have did it a different way.
Right.
But your mama slept that night on purpose.
Yeah,
it was a part of the book.
There you go, Wayne.
It's supposed to have written already.
Somebody
Somebody might have jumped out that window and not ever made it back home.
Look, this is the good part, though, Wayne.
But your role was there.
This is the good part about it all. My mom, of course, she comes up in the 60s, 70s. You know what I mean? They wasn't into all that rap. When rap came out, it was just like some of us. It's like some of us today, when we listen to the younger generation, we're like, oh, that's poo. We can't say that, man, because our parents were saying rap was poo, period.
Right.
And look at what happened to it. So you have to respect, people's craft.
And their parents said R&B would never last.
Yeah.
And their parents said soul was
and it just
the
evolves
devil's
and
music.
keeps evolving. But my mom actually thought, when I introduced her to Mike, that he was a bad influence.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he was a little older than me and he was doing other things. And here it is, her child at 15 talking about going rap with this guy that he met.
At a nightclub.
You know what I mean? At a nightclub that's older than him. You know what I mean? You're too young to be doing this.
Path, right.
You're leading him down the wrong path. I don't want him to go down this path. I want him to go down this path. You know? But little did she know, actually, he was there more for my help than anything, because even when I was doing messed up stuff, in my younger years, he was able to even catch me and say, man, what are you doing? Boy, don't do that. You know what I mean? One of the reasons that brought me to the gong shows was because I was trying to go down that path, and he was like, dude, you can make money doing gong shows.
Right.
Down that path as in hustle?
Hustle.
Yeah, thinking about hustling and wanting to portray that image.
Right. At 15 years old, that's what goes through. Yeah, 15,
I'm a tough guy.
I'm gonna make money.
I'm gonna do this.
I'm gonna make $1 million.
I'm gonna make $1 million. You know what I mean? Being a hustler. Look at this guy. Look at him he got that nice car. Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it actually changed my perspective once I began making money doing something that was.
I've known you guys for so many years, and it's really interesting because y'all were kind of referring to this in maybe a radio interview that we did more recently. like your bond is not just two artists.
No.
Yeah, we're brothers.
No, that's realer than that.
Is for you to say like he was like, you know, bruh, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like as two peers.
Yeah.
It's kind of almost like, and I thought y'all was the exact same age, but
4 years different.
4 years different.
like you kind of held a different position in this because you were kind of guiding his path too,
Right,
like
right,
kind of
right.
as an older brother,
Like
would
my big
do,
brother, right,
you know.
right.
Until this day, my mom will tell you.
That's your
she
brother.
came, yeah,
She said, Mike,
she'll
your
tell you,
brother.
that's your brother.
Right.
But I never forget the day. Okay, it was a day when we was doing the show in the Big Easy. Remember she walked in? Mm-hmm. She didn't even come to the stage. I hopped out my mom's window once again to go do this.
And she
right?
came.
She came. She caught on to it. She came.
She knew in advance.
She let him finish.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Look, she walked in the door, stood there, and looked me dead in my eye while I was on stage. And she did like that, nodded her head, let me finish, and when I finished, she did this. Let's go. I left out of there that night, and she walked. This is where I knew my mind was like, you know what? I'm gonna let this kid, you know what I mean,
Follow
pursue
his
whatever
dream.
his dream.
Right.
Because usually I would have gotten that call
Should've got
and
it.
shit, I'm pop. Who you playing with? Pop, pop. You know what I mean? Gonna leave out my window. You know how it is. Like, and she did not do that, bro. She just rolled home calmly and just said, son, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm praying for you every night. Wow. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And from that point on, I think she put in her mind, I'm gonna just let him
Find
his way, find his passion, and roll with it. And then when I finally, became an adult,
Right.
and she was able to see me, father my kids and see how I was able to raise them, put them in decent homes, you know what I mean? All of this from music. She actually came to me and said, son, I'm so sorry I ever doubted you in the beginning. And she said, I am so proud of the man you have become and how you and Mike have took, you know what I mean, this and turned it into a career.
Wow.
So,
You know what I mean?
so let me ask this: what did you see, Mike?
What
What
you
did you
mean?
see? What did you see that made you reach out and say, "Hey, you don't need to be doing this"?
I saw talent. I saw talent, and I saw that this guy could be something. I was just amazed with his talent, and I'm like that not only with Kango, just with artists in period. It's still a part of me. That's how I come across the BTYs, the Andre Perkins. You know what I'm saying? That's how I can see a C. Smith, S80, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I just love talent. Like, you know what I'm saying? And when I see it, I just try to, push it like to the level like, man, you good. You could be this. Like, like or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's just been a part of me since Lil.
But besides the professional aspect, the personal aspect is what I'm getting at. What did you see in him as a person? I mean, we know he's
I
talented.
saw me, bro. I saw me. Kango
Yeah,
is
some of the
Sagittarius.
same-
Kango,
yeah.
his birthday, me and Kango, 4 years and 8 days apart.
Yeah.
His birthday December 8th, my birthday December 16th.
Right.
I saw myself in him, like, I didn't, like I said, I didn't have a big brother. So when I see him, I see where he's trying to go at. We the same sign. We got some of the same mentality, the same ways. So when I see certain things he do, I'm like, you don't have to do that, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know you. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to do that, So that's the part that I attacked in him, you know what I'm saying? And
I don't have a big brother either. I'm the oldest. But Wayne is my big brother.
Right.
And I remember many a nights, many a days, Wayne would be like, say, bro.
Right, bro.
Right,
You gotta chill.
right, we need that.
You gotta
What are
chill.
you doing,
You
man?
need to like, say, bro, hold
It's
up.
balance. Look, it's balance amongst friends. You
'Cause
know,
he tell
these
me-
days you don't have a lot of people that actually will tell their friend the truth, whether right or wrong, and still stick by their side like a man and be like, dude, you was wrong as. I mean, shit for that, bro.
Yeah.
Well, but
We done
look,
had it
I'm gonna
out.
stand by you, but you gotta do something to make it. You know what I mean? To make it right or whatever it is. You know?
Honesty is almost a lost art today.
Right,
Man,
it is.
right?
It
we
is.
done had it out.
Yeah.
We 40
I mean-
years of friendship, and we didn't.
We done had it out before to the
yeah.
point to where people actually thought, we was about to fight. Like, I never forget the time we was outside the studio by Juve, and they had us on the cameras. I mean, they were like, dude, we saw y'all out there fussing, bro. We thought y'all about to fight. We were about to come out there and break it up. We're like, dude, it'll never get to that point. Like,
Right.
you know what I
We
mean?
be mad,
I
though.
mean, we have issues to
Right.
where we down hard, cussing each other out. I don't care. But no way can you come to me while I'm mad at him, and if I say, man, fuck Mike.
yeah.
And you
I
like,
can say
you
fuck
can't-
Wayne.
yeah,
but you
And
can't
say
say
fuck Wayne.
Yeah, you can't
No,
say that, dude.
indeed.
I don't
Right.
care. Even if you side with me saying, yeah, bro, I don't really be liking the way that nigga act. I probably would sit there and still be drinking like, yeah, I hear you. Yeah, bro. Mm-hmm. You right.
Right.
Boy.
Right.
Right.
Look,
me and Kango
Mike,
been on
we
stage.
gotta get him away
right?
from us.
We was
Right,
backstage.
right, right.
We done been backstage, bro. Mad hard fussing. Get on stage, like we walking past each other, you know, the crowd never knowing, like we mad at each other.
Probably
you know
your best shows.
Yeah, but we did
I
our
still
thing.
walk past him and say you look stupid as fuck.
You stupid ass shoes you
So
got
he'll
on.
be laughing on stage. You probably think he's laughing at something else, but I'm really mad, like stupid ass.
Yeah.
Looking at him, man. He like, look at this dumb ass.
We did a show recently. Look, we did a show not recently, right? Kango we was doing a live band show. Kango doing the show. I told him, I said, man, you do a song I don't know. I'm just walking off. We had to extend the show. He do a show I don't know. I just walk off. He looking at me. He bumping. I'm looking at him like I ain't told you I ain't coming through that, like, you know, whatever. So we have our differences, but it's never for those people.
Right.
It's for us. You know?
It's our differences.
So we established that we on Big Boy.
Right.
We got the UNLV beef brewing.
And y'all did 3 songs on the first Maxi?
Yeah, it was a
Maxi
Maxi single. Ride and Roll
What were the songs that were on it?
It was Ride and Roll It, the UNLV disc, and Heron Baby.
Yeah.
I remember.
We peed on the set. Remember
Oh,
that was
our first album cover.
We used to live on that
Well,
street.
we lived on 6 and
Six and
Barone.
Barone.
We
Yeah.
lived on 6 and Barone.
Next to the scatter site on
So
one side.
once we did these 3
know.
songs, Chuck was like, "We gotta do an album cover on y'all," and we was like, "Best thing, let's go piss on 6
Well,
and
before
Barone."
we did that, we took a picture with a lot of guns.
Right, we had a lot of gun pictures, and we
And
was like,
that
"Nah,
ain't really
that ain't
what we
it."
want to do.
So it was
So
like,
we-
"What y'all want to do?" We was like, "Man, we're gonna go piss on 6 and Barone," and he was like, "Y'all serious?" And Chuck was,
Said, bring the camera.
Sporty brought us out there.
Sporty was like, "Man, y'all serious?" He's like, "I'm coming with y'all."
A lot of cats don't give Sporty his credit, man. Sporty was a cool cat, man.
Sporty was a cool cat. He was a real brother of us. Listen to me, bro.
Yeah, Sporty
when I
was
say,
real.
bro, Sporty T would give us the shirt off his back, the money from his show, and never look back for it and say, "Here, bro, y'all go do this."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Man.
Sporty was that dude in the beginning of our career, took us everywhere he went. Sporty was a road hoe.
Right.
You know what I mean?
About
Sporty would
that.
get in the van and he'll ride from here to Mississippi and stop at every club
Right. Yeah.
they had in that area. You know what I'm saying? And he used to bring us on that road with him just to take that ride to meet these people and show us how
Right.
you know how to get
I
out the street.
respect
right?
Sporty, bro.
In our early days of Wolfpack Entertainment, our early days of getting into the entertainment business, I knew Sporty from dressing. I knew Sporty 'cause that's what we do in New Orleans.
That too.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
That
in New Orleans.
dress.
I would run in the Sporty in the polo shop in Canal Place. I would run in the Sporty in the Bally shop.
Right.
And he would always be like, "Who is you?"
Right.
You know, we didn't know each other, but we knew each other.
Yeah, I respect
right.
it. Yeah.
Right.
And that was him
And when I
doing
told
Mr.
him I'm from
Fresh.
Salisbury, he's like, Salisbury?
Right.
I'm from Salisbury. Then I told him I knew Wayne, and we was Wolfpack Entertainment, and it all kind of blended in
together,
together.
right.
So it was just a natural progression from me knowing him in the streets
Right.
to seeing him on the stage.
Right.
You know, and you say he gave you the shirt off his back.
Man, he gave us a shirt off his
Rest in
back,
peace
bro.
to Terrence Vine.
Shirt off
Right,
his back,
that was my brother, bro.
There's many times where Sporty saw us in situations and he'd be like, "Say, bro, man, here, take this." You know what I mean? Whatever it is that we needed, he
Some
was always
change
there
or whatever.
for us. Yeah, whether it was change wise in the beginning of our career, no matter what.
So weren't y'all in a group with Sporty T?
Well,
No,
we did
they
a
did the
little
bounce squad.
the bounce squad,
But I wasn't with that.
Yeah, it wasn't a group.
No?
I
It
ain't
was
like
something
this.
that they was trying to do to put all of us together, and they
Okay.
called it the bounce squad.
I ain't like that.
Kinda
Because they
like-
was doing a boot camp clip.
That's what I was
Yeah,
about to
it
say.
was
trying
a
to separate us
separation.
by-
Yeah,
and
they
I
was
like,
trying to
I ain't
separate
doing
us
that.
from that.
That's
See,
why I
you
didn't
gotta
like it.
understand this. Look, Chuck.
So y'all really wasn't boot camp click.
No, we
No,
wasn't.
we wasn't boot camp clip.
So let's get down.
But I didn't want to be bounce
Right.
squad either.
Right.
A lot of people know about Take 4. A lot of people know about No Limit. A lot of people know about Cash Money. Big Boy was huge.
Right.
Like, it hasn't got as much press,
Right.
but it was a very pivotal organization in New Orleans hip hop.
Right.
Right.
I mean, if you just think about the artists that were on this label, you guys as partners in crime,
Right.
Mystical.
I mean, you got to think about it. They were signing deals before anybody else. You know?
Fiends, G Slim.
Imagine how big G Slim would have been
Right,
if he
right.
wouldn't have got killed, because
He
that
was-
first Fours, Deuces, and Trades album was
classic, bro.
classic. You can
Classic.
listen to it now.
Right.
Right.
And it's still banging. That was one
Right.
of my favorite projects ever. Like, and it was the first one. And I think it was such a favorite to me because it didn't fit a New Orleans mold.
Right.
Yeah, it
Kind of
didn't.
had a little
It
West
was
Coast.
West Coast,
right? But his bars, he should have been a
was
superstar.
hard. He was
Right,
hard.
he was
man.
going there. He had
G was
signed a
going
deal with
there, bro.
Relativity
before
bro.
he got killed.
G was doing it, bro.
And so I was saying, Big Boy had all of these artists, Ghetto Twins, and Fiend, and PNC.
Black Menace.
Did they have Silky too?
Yeah, they had Silky
That
Slim.
was one of the early releases
Silky
too,
Slim.
Silky
Right.
Slim. But Chuck was not from New Orleans.
Yeah, he was from
He was originally from New Orleans. They moved
but
to the
he
West
grew
Coast.
up on the
Right.
West Coast.
Grew up on
Right.
the West
He came
Coast
back to
and
And
New
then
Orleans.
came back.
to New
And
Orleans.
then Rob Shaw was another one of the owners, right?
Right.
So did Rob and Chuck kind of each have their own artists?
No.
Because I
No.
used to always hear people
No.
say, well, that's Rob artist.
Right.
Or that's Chuck's artist. And I
Right.
was like, I thought they was Big Boy artists.
No, they were all Big Boy artists, and Rob worked with everybody. You know what I mean,
Right.
on the label, but it was a structured thing. Okay, Chuck, you know he's big bankrolling this label.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean. He didn't want his label to be known for bounce music. He wanted his label to be
Known
known
for
as like a West
hardcore
Coast
hip-hop.
hardcore hip hop. You know what I mean, label. And he told us that. And I got another story to tell you. Leading on about that. So he actually told us that. But Rob knew what the money makers were. Knew who the money makers were. Right?
Okay.
So Chuck would put out a Black Menace album, lose a lot of money, but then he'll come right back and drop a Partners in Crime album and make it all back up.
That was a roller coaster.
You know what I mean? It was a roller coaster.
Ups and downs.
So Chuck always knew that we was his breadwinners, but he just wanted his label to be known for something else. But later in life, we realized that, he really respected us more than we thought during that time. And I'll tell you like this. We worked the roads with Rob, did everything we needed to do. Rob Shaw gave us the game about management. He never, hid anything from us on that level. Didn't bring us to shows where he didn't introduce us to people, things like that. He worked more on the management side of the label. So any shows, anything with the Ghetto Twins, anybody, Rob was booking them. So there was always both of their artists,
I know the names of the artists on the label. Who was producing? Did y'all have an in-house producer?
Precise was producing.
So this was all
He was on the
Precise
production
doing.
side.
Precise on the track, and then
Precise was on.
Dave played
D-Funk, he played the music.
Dave played the funky guitar.
Yeah.
So Sice was on the
Okay.
production side, Rob was on the management side, Chuck was
the
label.
bread, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like any company, everybody played their positions,
Right.
But with Chuck not wanting his label to be known for bounce music, Chuck always had a respect for us.
I mean,
So
Chuck
did he-
had to respect us because we was bringing in the revenue without having to spend money.
Right.
He could. We put the most albums out on Big Boy Records because we had the biggest turnaround. Meaning, we put an album out, he didn't have to spend a lot of money to make money off Partners in Crime.
Because people was waiting for him.
They're waiting for
And because
and
it was
then
part of
remember-
the culture, we was
remember,
making a cultural sound of
independently,
of the city.
we were selling 30 to 35,000 just out of our place alone.
Right.
Big Boy doing its own distributing.
Right.
And they keeping all of that bread.
Look, you getting a full $10
Right, on that sale.
on that sale.
Right. They were
That's
making
not what
bread.
Big Easy Distributors was doing, Gonzalez or Southwest.
Southwest, right.
That's not what they was, you know what I mean? That's not including that. I mean, Big Boy Records alone
themselves.
used to get that shipped to the
Out
office.
the trunk.
Yeah, that was boxes in the
distributed
that was in the
themselves.
office.
Out the
right.
trunk.
Yeah,
At
out
the
trunk.
shows.
Yeah, we was
In
getting rid of it. Right.
So Chuck could lose 100 or 200, a $250,000.
Make it
And
right
come
back.
right back and say,
And
man,
drop an
PNC,
album.
I
Like
need an album.
he'll spend a lot of, if you look at the artwork, you'll see Partners in Crime got a black and white cover. You'll see us
Right.
have a cheap looking
Everything
t-shirt.
was cheap.
But everybody else had full color album
Right.
covers
Pen and
on
pixel.
it. Pen and pixel.
But think about this. During that time, we thinking, man, he don't give a fuck about us.
Right.
So guess what? We got to be about our money too.
You
but
know
this
what
whole time we thinking he don't really care.
Everybody was telling us, y'all don't need that.
Right.
Y'all getting a bigger return. We was getting bigger royalty checks because they didn't spend a lot of money on us.
They didn't
put
have
an
to-
album
they didn't
out.
have to recoup.
Yeah, they had
Right.
to recoup a lot. So
Right.
we made more.
But
And they was telling us, y'all
Go
got
ahead,
the
do it
best
yourself.
setup.
See, that was going to be my next question. How was the business side of it?
The business side of it was great.
rich.
We was rich.
I felt rich,
Alright.
ghetto rich.
Put it like this. Once we
Shit.
first read our contract, we were sitting down, we read it first ourselves, right? Because around that time, me and him wasn't trying to go pay no big lawyers. We just sat down, put our minds together as two brothers and said, man, we're going to understand what we're reading. If there was a big word that was in it, we actually go to the dictionary and we will find that big word, find out what it means. That's what we did on our first contract. You know what I'm saying? But there was one thing that stuck out.
More people should do that. Just my public service announcement. Artists, educate yourselves
about
this business.
Right.
Okay, return.
So one thing we knew about that contract, it said every 6 months you get an update and a royalty
check.
Yeah, and they had to show us what they sold.
Royalty statements.
Royalty statements. We knew about the mechanical side of everything, how everything maneuvered, right? So when that first 6 months came, we walked in the office and we said we need to see the books.
They was looking like, for what?
They was like, what? What are you talking about?
I've heard this story.
And
I said,
we like, no, in our contract, it states that every 6 months we got to see a statement. So when we got that first statement, Chuck say, man, look, show them. Boom, showed them everything. They said, y'all got money, bro. I can't remember how much it was at that time, but he was like, y'all got some money. You know what I mean? That's there. So we did all of the math on everything, and they cut us a check. And I think the check had to be a couple of thousand. Was that the first time we went got the?
It was the Maxi single.
That was the Maxi single.
It was a few little $1,000.
$1,000 or something like that.
Because we was just getting our name. You know, I'm still on the bus at this time.
Right.
I heard this story before. I'm not sure if it was you and I sitting at the bar, or maybe
Probably
you and I sitting at the bar.
Because,
see, what people listening to this podcast don't realize is they think it's an interview, but this is more like a conversation.
Right.
Because we go so far back.
Yeah.
You know, I've sat down with Mina, Loren. You know, that's his alter ego.
My God,
that's my polo dude.
Oh,
yeah, man. That's my dude.
I forgot,
I guess it Rolf Lauren.
That's my dude. You know, we go so back, and we've had just conversations outside the music, just regular conversations, just running it and talking it, just you know. And my man got some good seafood over there by that red light. You know, that's another topic. But just I've heard that story before. You guys share stories with us because you guys are so accessible. You know, you hear a lot of rappers that you can't see, a lot of artists that you can't get close to. You know, you can catch me in them Popeyes. You know, I want to see you. I know exactly where to find you. Right there. You know, so we've heard these stories, and I know what you guys are saying are truthful. And then it sounds like that Big Boy wasn't just a record label; it was more of a family.
Yeah, it was more. It was more of a family. You know what I mean? Oriented, you know, company. But we all had our differences because you got to know we're all young. We're all just starting in the business. Chuck was just starting in the business itself.
I'm going to interrupt. Tell me about what happened around the time, and how did you guys interpret what was going on, and what did you guys do around the time that Pump the Party was the biggest record in the region? Because it was bigger than New Orleans.
Yeah, it was totally bigger
Mystical,
than New Orleans. Right.
What was his? He had a record at the same time.
He was on. We was on the same album. Like it was on the same album.
We
One side
was
was
used to
Mystical,
promote
one
Mystical.
side was
We were used to promote Mystical.
And it became.
He was our opening act.
Right.
Everybody was pump the party. It was doing that. St. On football game. The band was playing, and they had the toilet bowl dance.
I was so caught up in it, like meaning like in it. To almost like the way you looking at it is from like the outside of it, like how, but I'm just speaking on my behalf. Kango may feel different. I just was so in it, like I was so caught up in it till it felt normal. It felt like this was supposed to happen.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because it just felt like
when the song hit, bro. You got to understand. We always said if we have to chase behind a song, then it ain't working.
It ain't it. That ain't
the
one.
I mean, it ain't it. When we first dropped this song, bro, when I say it was pure pandemonium, it was just something that just kind of like eased.
I just remember how many times we had to play that song from a DJ standpoint in the club. If you ain't had Pump the Party, you wasn't even no real DJ at that particular time. And you had to play it several times in one night.
Right. And once again, that was G Slim. And we were in the studio at Sound Service.
And we were playing it on the radio like it was getting spins. Right. It is a story about how Pump the Party even started. But we gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. But then Mike had a song too, Mystical. Whatever. What was the song?
I'm not that.
And I think at that particular time, I remember a radio meeting, and it was
a pick.
It was a pick.
Right.
Because they had him on the same
Because
album.
Big Boy was becoming like this big company.
Powerhouse.
And they were coming with hits and more hits. Not that radio picked, but that the people picked. Right?
Mm-hmm.
People love Pump the Party. Another set of people like I'm Not That Nigga.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that was the record.
That was a good problem.
That radio actually embraced was, I think, I'm Not That Nigga, and then maybe what, Here I Go?
After that came after down the line.
What was that when they did the black and white video?
That was
Black and
I'm
White
Not That
video?
Nigga. That was I'm Not That. No, that wasn't I'm Not That. It was
That was the original.
Yes.
Still the average though.
Hood Critic.
Was it?
No, that's G. That was G Quick right there.
Yeah, that was G Quick. I can't remember which one it was, but
I know your boy shot it.
Will Hart
shot it in some warehouse, empty warehouse.
Yeah, it was
black
sick,
and
yeah.
white. The
It was
light.
sick, yeah.
That was his first.
That was when you had the first introduction.
Yeah, I can't remember. Call Mystical, man.
I gotta pause.
Call Mr. Axel.
Either way it go, man.
So it was out of and I always wondered, like, wow, what would have happened if radio would have picked Pump the Party?
I think it still would have.
Did y'all know that?
No,
yeah,
we didn't.
We found out that it was a part. Rob told
down
me.
the line. Like,
I knew that it was a toss up, and they chose the Mystical song. Like,
and it was literally a toss up.
Right.
Like, what will it be? And I think that same scenario that you were talking about was part of that decision. Just like you said, Chuck was like maybe a more national type artist per se.
Right.
That made the decision, which is crazy.
Well, the Mystical
Mind the
decision,
Mystical,
I think
y'all ain't ready.
The
Y'all
Mind the
ain't ready.
Mystical
Y'all ain't ready
thing,
yet.
right? But this is the thing. Little did you know, he was actually on that same album with us because Chuck didn't want him.
Yeah, we
was Mystical Mike at first.
But he didn't even
Mystical
want us.
Mike. Chuck
They was
didn't
gonna
want him.
drop him.
The reason why that song was on our album because we told Chuck we like him. So Chuck said, "Y'all take him with y'all then."
And he was our opening act.
So he was our opening act. So when he did that song, Chuck wasn't about to put him out on that.
Right.
He said, if y'all want it out, put it on y'all
project.
On your project.
But you got to realize, no one had never heard anything like Mystical before.
he was different.
Let me tell you, I had heard it because we were doing scores at that time.
Yeah.
We were doing scores
on a Sunday night.
We did Sunday nights, which were bananas, and we had Slab early. He was just kind of coming off the porch as a DJ. We had Batman as a DJ, and Money Fresh.
Right.
Early Money Fresh. Money was like an understudy.
Right.
Who gained like a big following from being around us at Score in the warehouse.
Soaking it up.
And then all this hood stuff he was doing or whatever. But I remember sitting in front of Scores on the Elysian Fields, and KL said, I got this artist that I'm working with on the Parkway called Mystical Mike. He just got out the service.
Right.
And I was like, all right, well.
KL had him
I had a old hoopty or whatever. He popped the cassette in, and I listened for a minute. I was like, it's all right. It sounded like LL.
It was different.
Like his whole flow was LL-esque, the whole thing.
LL mixed with DOS effects.
Right, and he was saying some New Orleans stuff in his verses. So, like I'm rep New Orleans all day. I'm 7 Ward. He might be up to, what's he from, 13, 11 Ward?
Yeah, 12 Ward.
12 Ward.
Right.
And that was my first memories of Mystical then, but I didn't see him kind of blowing up the way y'all did. And I didn't know that they asked y'all to put his song on y'all. That's so crazy.
They asked us about that in Popeye's parking lot on Carrollton and Elho. Chuck came met us in Popeye's parking lot.
And y'all agreed to do it.
Yeah, he played, man, I got to play this for y'all, man.
We believed him. I was amazed when I first heard him.
Right.
He came there, I didn't think, the way he was dressed, I was like, I don't really know what this dude gonna do.
With them braids.
He had a braids yet.
Oh,
that was all the image
Yeah,
they
that
made.
was all the
He
image
had a
they
little
made.
Gap hat on, white t-shirt, some tree tones,
But the song was popping.
He was kind of.
And he went in the booth and rapped. And I was like, wow. Like, I was
he was
just
jumping
amazed.
around.
He was screaming and hollering. I was like, man, this dude's dope. And then they asked us, like, I don't really know what to do with him. Like, I don't know, And I was like, man, let him come on and roll with us. And we put his song on in our album.
And that's
because that's how we was doing it.
If
like,
you look
the
on
next
the
artist that's coming,
it says next artist
Mystical.
Wow.
So you guys had your own tour? You guys were doing your own
We
own
did the
shows?
Too Hot to Stop tour.
We did the Too Hot to Stop tour, but the thing about it was, we stayed so busy. When I tell you literally, 4 to 5 days a week, we was doing something. We was somewhere else. Every day we had to leave and go out of town. So it pretty much like we had more of the juice on Big Boy Records with doing shows and getting booked and things like that. So it was an easy avenue for Mystical to come along with us. And when we, about to start our show, let him go on first or either let him close.
That's what I was getting at. You guys had enough pull to where you can bring an artist with you.
We can bring artists with us. Yeah.
So Pump the Party was so hot at the time, like you said.
What?
To where if we brought anybody on that stage and
They
said,
just listen to
this Joe Blow, our people, we messing with that.
They were going to listen to him until they could get to Pump the Party.
Until they could get to Pump the Party.
Right.
But you got to think about how many people heard that and was like, this guy's kind of hot. Like, you know what I mean?
He's animated.
And got on to him. Like, and then when he do a show, dude, he started ripping the show so bad to where the people was calling back for him. And not even us no more.
Oh.
But what was good about Mike when he did his own little thing, like far as like when he left No Limit and started doing his own thing, the album with the album.
Jive.
Well, he already
he was on Jive.
Yeah, I'm saying it was the album that when he left them. What's the name of the song with Pharrell on the beats? Like
Shake It Fast.
Shake It Fast and all that. When he ran on that run, he came got us, and he let us do what we did for him.
And he said, "Man, I'm gonna pay this back to y'all."
And he paid us.
Yeah,
great. I got married off of Mystical. Shit, Mystical showed mad love.
Showed us mad love. So he took us on the tour, the Shake It Fast tour, let us open up and become his hype man on the tour.
Wow.
And we did so good with him to one point. His shows started getting, lessened or whatever. So we had to come back home. But then Jive called us and said, we're going to bring y'all back and we're going to pay the extra expense, and got us back out there. So he did an awful lot for us, and we thank him and respect him for that.
Wow. Now, Pump the Party was an afterthought song.
Yeah.
Like when y'all didn't even want to make this song, right?
No, G
Slim like said, what y'all about to go do? Pump the party?
G Slim had studio time.
He was ribbing us,
mocking y'all.
Yeah, he was like, what y'all gonna pump the party or something?
We cut into his studio time at Sound Service.
That's what we about to do.
Because when we got in there, Sice was like, say, bro, we got to cut it, PNC in here. And amongst all the rest of them, they used to be like, y'all little
man.
Here they go.
So he like, what y'all about to go
and
in
here
there?
they about to come in and do all this Pump the Party stuff.
Was Pump the Party a song?
No, it wasn't a
just
song.
just something he said on the top.
It was almost like he was trying to downplay.
He just said it, and we looked at him and said, y'all, that's what we about to do.
King Slim
Can I pump the pump? And Sice said, what?
Just straight off that.
He said, that's what we about to do. We was like, let's do it. We sat down, me and him wrote down Gertown, Holly Grove, wrote all the names, and we just went straight in there. And after Sice did the Mantronics, because Mantronics was our stuff back then.
With that being said, I mean, I gotta pay homage to Sice.
Yeah, Sice was a genius.
Yeah,
Sice was a
genius.
bad man.
Yeah, he was a bad man. He was a bad man.
He did
all the
production. All the production.
All the production, bro.
I used to be mad with some of Sice's production.
Man, Dave don't get enough props.
I used to be mad with Chuck.
Dave was the one playing everything.
With Sice. As good as them songs was, you wouldn't even understand. I used to be in there like, say, bro, I want the Manny Fresh. I was looking for something else, and but Sice was like putting the little G-funk whistles in our stuff.
Just chill out.
I don't really like that. Like,
chill out.
But it was he made classic stuff.
The funky worm
I didn't even understand it. I didn't hear it.
And then he dropped that bloop, 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 bloop.
I ain't hear it.
Boom, boom, so, boom, boom. And you like, Lord, that
all right.
So we got you on Big Boy, all right, and we got Pump the Party. What happens next for Partners in Crime? Where do we go from there?
We continue dropping albums. We dropped Putting in Work.
How many albums y'all have, man?
We had 4 or 5.
On Big Boy.
On Big Boy, we had the maxi single Pussy in a Can. We had the Partners in Crime album. Then we had the PNC 3 album.
And then we had the
Putting in Work album. So those were the 4 albums that we dropped
on Big Boy. In what, 3 years span?
That we own.
Wait a second. There's 2 of y'all here.
Right.
Yeah.
But I remember when there was 3
that's
of
how
y'all.
you get PNC 3.
That's how you get PNC 3. Okay, during that time, Mina was going to school. He had went to college in Baton Rouge. So he couldn't take the trip back and forth down. So my cousin Prime used to be in the studio with us. Prime had started cutting some songs, so we called Mina and told him that we had started cutting songs. That wasn't sitting right with Mina.
Man, you know like that?
Like, man, I gotta get back home, man.
They about to cut me out.
I'm about to get back home. So anyway, Mina come back home.
Let me tell you the real. I come home like we did March one time. I come home and I'm struggling in college, right? I'm out there paying for my own college, like tuition. My mom ain't have it like that, so I'm out there doing my own college thing. I come home, I'm struggling, can't go at a block party in Hollywood. He said, how you doing, Red? I'm struggling. That boy said, hold up. Went in his pocket, broke me off a stack of money. I'm like, man, I went home. I went back to school and withdrew. I was like, I'm gonna go to Suno.
I'm going to get my money.
You was in Baton Rouge?
I was at I was going to
Baton Rouge.
Southern. I was in a band. I played for Southern.
Baton Rouge, bro. And that day,
band suit number 127 fit me like a,
That day, I never forget that day too, because we was at the block party and we did that. And then me and him went to Joe Brown Park. They had something in Joe Brown. You had on the Tiger shirt with the Kenny Coles and
some shorts.
I never forget what we be wearing because we used to be fresh.
They sharp,
I mean, we used to be fresh.
That's what kind of attracted me to you. I said, man, them cats, they fresh.
What were the songs on PNC 3?
PNC 3 was
that made him come back home.
Thank you, Miss Lily.
Pump the
party.
But Thank You, Miss Lily, I ain't on that song. That's Kango and Prime. That's one of them I heard that was like, I'm coming home.
Right.
Yeah.
The $1,000 made me come home, and then hearing the song, I was like, they ain't gonna need me if I stay out here.
Right.
Coming back.
So we did The Blunt Is Mine.
Yeah.
That was the.
That was like a skit, really.
Yeah. It was like a little skit on there. But we had the same songs. We had Roddy Roller, I Don't Love Them. On there, a couple of other ones. I can't really.
Did we have Gucci's? No, we had
no,
Gucci's.
Gucci that came later. That was putting in work.
No, this is a question everybody asks. Who is Miss Lily?
Well, Miss Lily is
Who is Miss Lily?
That's actually my late aunt, man.
In the neighborhood.
She sold Hucklebucks or something?
I mean, she was just a good person. She was just a good person in the neighborhood, man. She took care of everybody.
So thank you, Miss Lily.
Real love. So thank you, Miss Lily. You know what I mean? Thank you, Miss Lily.
That too.
Yeah. But long story short, man, like I said, we were the breadwinners for Big Boy Records, and during that time, we thought he really didn't care about us.
About that.
But once we finally left Big Boy Records, and Chuck had a couple of problems of his own. He went and did a little time and stuff like that, man. Chuck came home, and I'll never forget, he knocked on my door, and I was like, what are you doing here? Like, you know what I mean? He walked up to the door and we was like, look, go. He said, man, I just come home from jail, bro. He said, I wanted to come to you and tell you, apologize to you. So I was like, for what? He like, man, all of the years that I had my record company, he said, I looked at you guys as if y'all was just, you know what I mean, some normal bounce guys. When really, he said,
the bounce
really,
dudes.
Right.
Yeah, he said, really, once I sat down and thought about it, bro, my loyalty should have been with you dudes because y'all stayed loyal to me. Even when I told y'all I didn't want my label to be known for bounce. Y'all still continued every time I called y'all. Y'all still came in that studio.
Self-belief, though.
Yeah, in that studio, made it happen, bro, and like stood up to me. As of today, at that point, he was like, y'all are the only guys that actually stood up to me for what y'all wanted.
Right.
He's like, y'all was getting royalty checks when nobody else was even getting royalty checks.
That's what broke the label up, like, actually.
I'm about to ask, what was the demise of Big Boy Records? Like I said, it was really the big four in New Orleans.
Right.
Take Four, Big Boy, No Limit Cash Money. That was the big four.
Right.
Well,
They had other labels too, but that was
the big four, right.
But we had somebody in the label that didn't want us to tell other label mates that we was getting the royalty check. And that was something that didn't sit right with us.
That was the demise of the
Yeah,
label.
A lot of people wasn't getting royalty checks. We were.
Right.
You know, because we asked for ours.
So anyway,
we probably wouldn't have got ours either if we wasn't asking, but we asked, and they knew we knew, so they gave us ours.
Right.
So let that what you just said be a lesson to these newer artists.
Yeah, man. Don't
You
let
gotta know
nobody
your business,
divide
right?
y'all like that, man. If you know somebody that you're on the label with, and you feel like they putting in their hard work just as much as you.
This was the real problem though. Mm-hmm. You know, they already had divided us by making it the boot camp clique and the bounce squad. Mm-hmm. So with them feeling some kind of way, and I'm like, well, I ain't telling them nothing. Like, y'all feel like y'all know what y'all doing, y'all so rocking with this. Then let us be the bounce squad. We gonna keep bouncing and making this money and shining on y'all, and y'all can think what y'all want. I'm not telling y'all nothing. Yeah.
So by this time we pulling up in cars. Now this time
cars.
It's not just no fly clothing in one car.
Right.
It's
cars.
fly clothing in cars.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So we pulling up. And you know, I wanted my money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, one thing I was always about was my paper. So it came a little time where Precise asked to, you know, we got a royalty check, and he was like, look, let me keep $5,000 of it. And out of that $5,000, you know, if y'all don't sell records in the next 6 months, at least you'll have $5,000 in the hole. I'm like, cool. We sold records. So I come back, they give me a royalty statement, boom, they pay us. I tell Kango wasn't even there yet. Like I'm there arguing. I always was like on the money. Like, look, give me. So they giving us the money. I made them split our money up because at one time they used to try to give me the check because I was the oldest.
Pay the taxes.
But I knew like
no.
I'm not gonna be paying the taxes on all this money. You gonna give him his check and whatever. They didn't want to give Prime a check because they say Prime wasn't.
He wasn't
signed
officially a member of us
of the label. So we paid him out our money.
You know, everything that happened from that point with Prime, we took care of it. Checks.
I heard a story about Prime. Prime said he didn't want to rap because he didn't like the record business.
Well, he didn't.
He said it was too scandalous for him. And he felt like, man, I've been went to jail for
fucking up somebody,
hurting one of these dudes behind my money, like, you know what I'm saying? So with Big Boy, you know what I'm saying, I went to get a check, they gave me a check. So I'm like, okay, yeah, this that money, but where the $5,000 at? Chuck was like, what $5,000?
Chuck didn't know that Sice held the $5,000.
I was like, man, Sice kept 5 G's for me. That ain't in this. So you go call Sice. Go call Sice. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I'm still fussing at Chuck because I always had a problem with Chuck. Like, you know, it's love. It was a love-hate relationship. It's like I spoke up to him a lot, you know, and I didn't care if he had money. So I'm fussing. Man, I want my money. So he walk off. So when he walk off, I say something disrespectful to him. That was real disrespectful. Dude come back. I ain't really look at Sice like that. I'm like, man, get out my face. Chuck, give my money. Give my boom. He snuck me. We fight. Boom, boom, boom. Chuck like, man, get a dude his money. So how much we owe him? Yeah, give me my $5,000. He gave me $5,000. When Sice snuck me, he broke my jaw. I didn't know my jaw was broke at the time. Kango pull up. Look, I got our money. Here, this gonna be your half, like whatever.
Man, something don't feel right.
Something ain't right. Find out my jaw broke. Boom.
Jaw was broke.
So get wired up. You know, I was a man, bro. Like Sice, some ugly shit could have happened to Sice at that time. You know, but being real as I was like, man, look, I disrespected that man. So out of disrespect for that man, I gotta accept my lip. Don't touch this dude. Don't bother him. Don't mess with him. That was on me. And whatever happened, right? So me and Sice got back cool. You know.
The label at that point, the label was everybody else on the label was like what happened? What were y'all fighting over?
Over
and
royalty.
at that time, we're like, look, we fighting over our royalty money. So now you have people like Mystical Black Men and everybody else like,
they looking like, what y'all talking about?
What are you talking about?
I thought all our money was coming from shows.
And we're like, no, you think we buying these cars and stuff just off of shows? Wow. And they're like, wait a minute, y'all been getting checks?
So we meet by Mystical house, and we just tell them the whole story. So Mystical like, they gave me my money. I'm like, no, they gave you your money for signing with Jive.
They gave you your money for signing with Jive,
but they never
not
gave you the money that you made before you got to Jive.
Wow. So when he called Chuck and asked him about it, Chuck owed him like $100 and something grand.
Yeah, $125,000. They had a lot of them that they owed money too. So it started like, you know, everybody started going at them for their money. We was like, you know, we ain't messing with, our contract was up. Yeah, so I was like, I ain't signing back with y'all unless you give me $1 million. You know, well, I say $500,000. Chuck said, I'll give you the $500,000. Kango was like, no. You gonna give me $1 million. He all $1 million.
No, what did he say?
$1 million apiece.
It was $1 million.
It was $1 million.
I was saying it was 500.
I say $1 million.
He was saying $1 million.
So Chuck,
you know, because I know they had it. Like the company was worth $1.something million in the newspaper at the time. So I'm like, you got 500. We bought bulk of the money we brought to y'all. So at the end of the day, give me 500 of it. Kango was still just like, he was younger. I want $1 million. We could have probably, he said we could have never got
Chuck
the 500.
said, get out the phone.
So let me wrap my head around this. What year we talking?
This was 94, 95. When we left?
96.
So 1996. 1996.
I think it was 95.
96, no, because in 96, 97, we was in the house uptown off of Calipissa and Burgess.
So mid-90s. So mid-90s. So mid-90s, you guys have accumulated and amassed enough, what do I want to say? Sales hits, enough product to demand.
Yeah, $1
million will be walking.
Right.
Yeah. See, that goes
in 96.
That goes back to show you the power of unity. Because if you guys would have split up like they was trying to do y'all in the beginning, we would never be at this point now.
Right. Actually, we wouldn't be at this point now where I'm saying like right now, 2019, of owning our masters to everything we did at Big Boy Records.
Right. Real talk.
You know what I mean? And that's why I was saying in the beginning, we never knew how much Chuck really you know, how much love he really had for us when we was thinking, oh, he don't care about us. He just puts our album out, don't do this. But Chuck always
He didn't want to let y'all know how
yeah,
much he cared about
yeah,
you.
Yeah, but it always was a love-hate thing with Chuck. Like, you know what I mean? Chuck could come fuss with us, just like me and him will fuss, and we won't talk to him for months. But he'll come right back around and say, you still looking stupid.
See, he taught principles like this
You know
to
what I
me.
mean?
He taught principles like this to me. It's like he bought a lot of people cars, right?
Right.
But when it came to me, he was like, I was like, Chuck, I've got to get off this bus, bro. I saved $1,000. I won't get this car. It costs $2,000. He was like, I give you the other $1,000, but you got to pay me my money back.
My money back.
So I'm like, all right. So every week I had to give him $200 till I paid him his little money back. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? But he didn't do that with no other artist. But
Right.
it did teach me principles as a man.
As a man.
Like,
That's why he messed with you like that.
Right,
because you did that. But even then, when we used to fuss and when we left Big Boy Records, he telling you now, he even attempted to call us back to get us back on board, and we didn't. And even though we didn't get back on board with him and he went through all that, he made it his point when he came home to apologize to us, tell us, I'm sorry for that, bro. I respect y'all more than anything in this world because y'all stood y'all ground. But when we actually dropped So Attracted, the song that C. Smith made, there was a thing at radio where somebody wanted
the blackballing it,
some
right.
payola for the song to get played.
That was right after Katrina?
Right after
Yeah,
Katrina.
right
after Katrina.
You know, somebody up there just wanted, you know what I mean, was trying to railroad us and wanted some type of payment. Me and Mike felt we didn't want to do that. You know
And
what I
just
mean?
for
So-
clarity's sake,
Right.
it wasn't me.
Yeah,
just
it
for
wasn't
clarity's
right.
sake.
Right.
So you wanted 500,000.
I'd say I wanted $1 million too, but I would take the 500. I would take the 500 because I felt like that was something we could possibly get.
And I was just being an asshole.
And it was negotiable because
Right.
I was dealing with numbers. You know, at one time I was the one getting the royalty checks, you know, knowing what they owe us, the whole nine. So with that being said, I was like, we was worth, you know, the $1 million was something that we would probably be worth, but at the time the 500,000
The 500 was
something
more
we
reasonable,
was worth.
yeah,
We
'cause
really was worth that
you coulda
because
got that.
we was getting royalties, and I'm like, I just made you $600,000. I just made you $300,000. Like I knew, my arguments with Chuck was like, yeah, you giving me this $30,000, but I know I just made you 300.
10%.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
35,000 times 10.
I used to be knowing the numbers.
5,000 times
Right.
10.
Yeah, you giving me pennies off this, but you ain't gonna do nothing to me because I'm valuable to you. I bring you $600,000. I'm bringing you $300,000 every 6 months. So I can talk to you how I won't talk to you because on the same level, that's my value
I have
with
some
you.
bargaining power.
So did y'all get the money?
We got our we didn't get that money.
We didn't do the deal.
We didn't do that deal with him.
So in order for you guys to stay on the label, you guys said we need
500
Yeah.
up front.
Y'all ain't get it.
We didn't do the deal.
Y'all
We didn't
bounced.
get it
We
because
bounced.
we didn't get it because we already had plans of starting our own
Own thing,
label,
right. Crime
which
Lab.
went to it was Crime Lab. But before then, to get back to what you were saying about that meeting in the room, once we had that meeting and everybody wanted to know what the fight was about, and we told them about the royalty checks, at that point, now you have Fiend, you have Mystical,
Right.
you know what I mean? You have Insane.
Right.
You know, you have a couple of other people that
Tim
sitting in
Smooth
there.
was doing writing.
Tim Smooth was
Tim
doing
Smooth,
I
writing.
think
for-
Tim was there, too.
Tim was there at that time too. Once they found out about the royalty checks, now everybody's coming at Big Boy about money.
They wanted their issue
Yeah.
too.
Right. So now, even with that 500 you asking for, I ain't giving y'all shit now because y'all done went and told them, and now they all
Right.
at my back
I
door.
told
now.
y'all don't tell these
You know
people
what I mean?
like what's going on.
Yeah, you know.
You know.
So that was the demise.
That was the demise.
So
That was the
did
demise.
everybody jump ship at that time?
I mean,
Yeah,
well, at
Mystical-
that- well, at
Mystical
that-
went to No Limit.
No, before he went to No Limit,
Right.
The deal was offered on the table from Rap A Lot. Rap A Lot wanted
Oh, yeah,
three
right.
of the powerhouses
Right.
from Big Boy, which was going to be Mystical, Partners in Crime, and the Ghetto Twins.
Okay.
You know, so we was going to go do the deal with Rap A Lot. You know what I'm saying? Rap A Lot offered us some money.
Rap
you
a lot
know,
upper level.
Yeah, they paid. They sent us 20 bands, and we sent them a contract back printed.
Printed with no. We printed our name on
Yeah,
the contract.
I'm like,
didn't
we ain't
sign it.
signing this. We gonna print it.
Then we printed
which
it.
we knew it was gonna be void.
Okay,
but they
we
sent
incriminating ourselves, but we printed it very awkwardly.
you
You know what I
printed
mean?
it.
As to where it's not really a
They
signature.
incriminated, I printed
You know
it.
what I mean? But anyway, the thing about it is, Upper Level Sites was doing the deal with Rap A Lot during this time, and it was
Right.
supposed to be Upper Level Records. Now we was actually going to drop New Orleans Block Party on Upper Level Rap a lot. That's why you hear Upper Level take 4. Now you know how I go.
Right.
Representing down south for sure.
Upper Level.
A lot of people always like, what was Upper Level? That's the label that we was actually going to drop it on, which was going to be Precise's label.
Right.
But then we found out that wasn't going to be a good look for us. So Sice went to get money for us from Rap a Lot. You know what I mean? In order to put the album out. But once we learned that out, once we found out, more business, the business wasn't right for us, we decided not to sign that deal, although we did receive the $20,000.
So
we were supposed to get 50.
Right.
And at the time, and they sent 20. And that's the reason why it was just printed, because I felt like, send me the 50.
You still didn't have the rest of the money.
Yeah, just send me the 50, man.
Yeah.
The twins had got their 50. Miskell was, he had wound up going
to No Limit.
To No Limit.
Fiend.
Just give me my 50, like.
Fiend went to No Limit.
They sent me 20, and I'm knowing the twins, and they telling me like, how much they. We asking them like, how much they gave you? Well, they gave us 50. I want 52.
Right,
right. we make hits, like, you know what I'm saying? I want 50 from you, like.
So that became the end of it, right?
Yeah,
there.
that was a wrap. Like,
That was it.
And then this Upper Level deal didn't necessarily work out for you guys in your favor.
No.
Nah.
So we decided to do our own thing,
thing.
Crime Lab. That's where we started our own label.
And I think at this point we've covered a lot of ground.
Right.
This has to be a two-parter.
Has to be.
Like, because there's
Man, we just
life
scratching the
after
surface.
Big Boy
We would
was
be here
so
all day.
many things that you guys did. But we'll be here all day. But I want to be here all day
Right.
because I really think like it's important to let these stories get out and be manifested in a full way, right? Because like a lot of folks don't know these stories,
Right,
and
man.
our goal with the Wayne Unchained Podcast is that we control the narrative.
Right.
I want to be able to tell these stories on this podcast versus somebody in Minnesota or somebody in New York or
And tell them
somebody
the
coming
right
from
way.
Europe, right?
Right.
That has heard the myth of partners in crime or understands the influence that you guys have had.
Right.
So let's do a part 2 for this.
Let's do it. We may have to do a part 3. I can tell you.
We
that
might.
now. It's
We really
very-
might. And let them know about life after Big Boy.
Right.
And kind of the new
Right.
partners in crime with their own issue. Now that they got some skins in the game and know how the business runs,
Right.
they ventured out to do their own damn thing.
There you go.
Right.
I'm with that, man. I'm with that. But
I just appreciate y'all having us on this
man.
platform, bro.
I think this is something that that everybody should tune into, man, because they're getting the real raw, actual essence of New Orleans. You have a lot of people that come in from these out of town places, and we hear it all the time. Oh, this guy wants to do an interview on you. He's from Australia. You know what I mean?
Right.
And all of these things.
They don't even
and
ask the right questions.
Yeah, they don't even
know
ask the
enough
right
stuff to
questions.
even
They don't
ask,
know
right?
enough stuff. And most of the times when we go in these interviews, and it's kind of crazy that they would even start off and say, well, I asked, do you know Backyard Joe? And I'm like, no. They're like, he's a bounce artist from here. I asked him about you guys, and he told us that, he was more relevant and he knew this and you guys. And it's like, damn, I don't even know who this person is, but hey, that's what he says. Hey, that's what it is. But they always go to these
Third,
fourth,
fourth
and third generation artists to try and find out
the root of stuff.
Yeah, the root of it all. When you can never get that because they weren't back there. All they know is stories.
Right.
All they know is stories that people told them, and that don't mean those stories were true.
Right.
I think
You know
that's
what I'm
what gives this podcast it's truth.
Right.
Because you're not just listening to the artist, you're listening to the DJ that was actually there when all this
right.
started.
He know, right.
I just tag along.
Right.
Oh man,
It's good.
It's all
no.
about.
I'm saying that to create substance. I've been there. I'm there.
Right.
I've tagged along. Wayne may have lived it, but I was one step behind him. You know how they say the man next to the man?
Right.
I've always been there, so I can say, yeah, that's truly how it happened. So once we get your perspective, we get Wayne to add his little bit of color. Hey, yeah, that's how it really happened.
Right.
You know,
So-
because there's 3 sides. You know, his side, their side, and the truth.
There you go.
We put all 3 of them together.
Right.
We got what we came
Got
for.
what we came for. Right. So man, yeah, bro, we honored to be on here, man. Y'all be sure tune into the second segment of it, man.
Yes, part 2.
Yeah. So we can let y'all know, where we moved on, where we had moved on in life. and give y'all the true partners in crime, you know?
Right. There it is. Partners in crime, Kango and Mina holding it down on this episode of Wild Wayne Unchained. And this was part 1. Yeah. It gets even juicier, and they've done so much more with life after Big Boy, fostering new artists, raising families, making real money, bigger tours,
businesses,
like shutting down a whole Super Bowl, like all kind of stuff, which made news headlines globally. They never cease to amaze me, not only as artists and entrepreneurs, but 2 good men from New Orleans as well. So y'all keep it right there. We'll be dropping episode we'll be dropping part 2 very, very soon. Make sure, catch this one, send it to your friends, make some comments if you was a part of some of them things, because people were part of some of these things. They might have been at the Big Easy that night when y'all wreck shop. Somebody might have seen you jumping out that window and just didn't tell your mama. But we'll be back with more partners in crime and many more, obviously, right here on Wild Wayne Unchained.
There you go.
Kango Slim Cannon,
Pump the party.
Misdemeanor Cannon,
Pump the party.
Prime Time Cannon,
Pump the party.
Lil Squirrel Cannon,
Pump the party.
Black Minutes Cannon.
Thank you for listening to the Wild Wayne Unchained podcast. Make sure and follow us on social media at Wild Wayne Unchained. And for advertising or sponsorship opportunities, contact us at wildwayneunchained@gmail.com.
Who run this bitch?